This is a 1958 Chevrolet Biscayne 2-door, and this is the first one I've had of these. They're pretty rare. They only made them for 1 year, so it's pretty cool to have one. This is a older restoration. There we go. It's got a 305 in it. Runs good. Automatic transmission. Actually got a power glide in it. The car steers good, straight. Looks like the speedometer does not work. Fuel gauge does work. And it's quiet in here.
Yeah, it is.
We just got done driving that 59 Chevy truck. This thing's, you know, trucks are just noisier. And then riding in here, it's quiet. The car floats down the road. They had an older restoration done on it back in the early 90s, you know, which shows my age because it shows all of our age, right? 90s is a lot longer ago than we like to think it was.
Yeah.
So probably 15, 18 years old for the restoration, but mechanically kept up. Really like the sound on that exhaust. You can hear the engine runs great. I'm going to shut it off and then we'll talk about the car a little bit more. Honestly, this car, I'm kind of like there's a little bit to me where it's like, it's kind of a shame, you know, it's like, you know, that 15, 18 years ago, this car looked awesome. And now it's just, you know, it needs to be brightened and freshened back up again. It needs an engine detail and, you know, things like that. But the nice thing is extremely minimal rust, almost no rust at all. And the great thing is, mechanically, it runs and drives great. It really, I don't think, needs anything mechanically. The brakes stop straight and true. You know, it's got independent front suspension on it, power steering, steers great. No rust, like I said, that I can see. You can tell that the, let's see, did I do that right?
I think so.
The, may need to do it. Or may have to be closed, yeah. You know how these things are. There you go, yeah. Paint needs to be, car either needs to be repainted if you want it to look super nice. If you want to be a nice looking driver, a wet sand and a buff would go a long ways. I think a lot of the oxidation in the paint would buff out. And I think what happened is, I think it sat up for a while, for a few years, and then they pulled it back out, got it tuned back up, dialed in and everything, got it back on the road. I mean, from 20 feet away, the car looks really cool. When you get up on it though, you're gonna see that the chrome on the front is pitted. It really needs to be re-chromed. And the grille could stand to be polished. Now the lines on the car are super straight. I mean, the body is very straight. The top is straight. I mean, I'm not even seeing minor dings and dents on it. It's looking really straight. This would be a great contender for a restoration. A few scratches in the paint here, and like I said, discoloration on the car, kind of from front to back. Old rally wheels on it. Tires with low tread on them. Couple of spots of minimal rust here. You can see a couple of bubbles here in the back, kind of a typical rust spot. And really, it looks like what that is, surface rust, older, you know, under the paint. Rear bumper is in okay condition, but if you were restoring the car, you'd want to just redo all the chrome anyways. Does have some rust here, bottom of the quarter. A few rust bubbles right above on the top of the wheel well. So like I said, nothing major, but there are a few things there. Top looks pretty good, but like I said, there's oxidation in the paint. It's got a gray interior. It was done. You can tell that it was done and it's older. Still presentable. And in fact, if it had new carpet in it, it would go a long ways to making the interior look, you know, really good. Like I said, for kind of a driver, maybe for someone it might be a project. For someone who might just enjoy driving this one the way it is. You wouldn't have to put a whole bunch of money into it to really spruce it up. But I think this would be a great contender for a full restoration. Make a great hot rod. Like I said, no rips or seats and no rips or tears in the seats. Good looking headliner. Dash looks good. Underneath the car, really, really clean. And this is to me where it counts the most. Clean rockers. Clean frame rails. It's got flow masters on it. Did not realize that. The underneath of this car. Clean frame rails back here. Clean under the trunk pan. Now it looks like somebody did some fiberglass work there on that inside of the trunk. On that side. Along the bottom of the outside of the rocker here, there's a couple of bubbles. You can see a few bubbles there. There's a crack right there in the bodywork. Underneath on this side, same thing. Original looks to be really looks to be original floor pans. They look really clean. One spot right there. But man, original floor pans look awesome. So there you have it. So these are, you know, like I said, 1 year only cars. And man, I've seen some cool hot rods, especially with a Biscayne. I think you take a little bit more risk with it than you might want to a Bel Air or an Impala. Because, you know, so many guys are going like, well, it's an Impala. We don't want to mess it up. Want to try and keep the originality of it. But with a Biscayne, you kind of take some risks on it. Maybe paint the trim, or take it all the way off, shave the door handles, make a hot rod out of it. You're not feeling like you're messing up the Impala, you know, which is obviously worth a lot more. So if it was me, I'd probably take a shot at, you know, doing a really cool hot rod with this car. Like I said, as is, good running, good driving car. I'd jump in this car right now and run to the grocery store in it, pick up the kids from school, run errands around town. It really is running good. It steers good. It drives good. So as is, it's a driver and from 20 feet away, it's a cool looking car. I think somebody's gonna have a lot of fun with this one.